How's it going, everyone? I am back with another video. This is going to be my conference championship recap video where go through two conference championship games that happened, break down how I interpreted the games, what happened, my thoughts, things like that. So I'll just dive into the first game here. So it was the NFC Championship game, Commanders Eagles, and wow. Well, I picked the Commanders in this game, so looking at the score, I feel like a fool doing that. But I did say I could see a scenario where the Eagles blow Washington out. I didn't think it would be this bad, but obviously that happened. They blew them out. The score could be a bit misleading because it was a close game heading into the fourth, and then Philly scored 21 in the fourth to really, pull away. They got a complete garbage time touchdown at the end that really stacked the scoreboard in their favor. But this was a weird game, sort of. The Commanders moved the ball better, I think, than the score indicated. Tom Brady did a good job during the broadcast talking about it a bit, where he said, the Commanders, like, their first drive, they were moving down the field, but Tom Brady was talking about how they really had to earn every yard they were getting. It was very tight coverage, not much going in the run game. It felt like, at least at the start of the game. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they really got much in the run game at all. They were behind multiple scores most of this game, so obviously that's a big reason why too. But I mean, the first drive, they went down the field, they got a field goal, they converted two fourth downs on their opening drive, I think. Um, then they had a fourth and short, they kicked the field goal. Some people were talking about why they're not going for it. I agree, kicking the field goal there because you're only going to convert so many fourth downs in a row. I think you're on your opening drive, you're in field goal range. I mean, why don't you just get 3 points on the board, take a 3-0 lead? You don't want to have a one drive like that, multiple fourth down conversions, end up with nothing. So I agree with that call. But unfortunately for the Commanders, you know, I talked about it in my video, my prediction video. They were going to have to stop Saquon going into this game. They did not do that at all. Literally, the Eagles' first play of the game, Saquon broke multiple tackles, took it the distance to the touchdown. So that was a problem for the Commanders in this game. They could not stop Barkley. He had 118 yards. He's been on an absolute tear. Only on 15 carries, too. Barkley has been on an absolute tear this postseason. 3 touchdowns. It's absolutely insane for Barkley. Um, yeah, fumbles absolutely killed the Commanders in this game. Right when they were making a push, they were down one score. Uh, they were in like a minute and a half. They turned it over. Then they had a bad 3rd and 10 out of bounds, unnecessary roughness, and Saquon that led to a touchdown. If Philly was going to kick a field goal there. So penalties absolutely killed the Commanders. I do think the refs kind of gave the Eagles some beneficial calls. The refs didn't give the Eagles the game. Um, Much like they greatly assisted the Chiefs. We'll talk about that one shortly here, per usual. The Chiefs getting an assist from the refs. But there's that. There was what was the correct call, the unnecessary roughness in Saquon, but Philly got bailed out by Washington on that one. Uh, it was a 2 point game at one point. It looked like the Eagles were going to absolutely just steamroll the Commanders. The Commanders ended up making a 2 point game. They went for a fake punt. They got it, got them some momentum. But it was a 2 point game. It was a fourth and short, and AJ Brown caught a deep pass from Hurts on the sideline. There should have been a holding that would have forced an Eagles punt. So there's that. I'm pretty sure if I remember right, Philly got a touchdown on that on that drive there. What was another call? Oh yeah, the AJ Brown, he didn't get flagged, but he got fined for his actions after the I think it was a touchdown. He was going face to face with Lattimore, or maybe it was before the touchdown. I think it was after the touchdown. Lattimore got flagged. They ended up going for two. They actually stopped the tush push, the Commanders. So maybe it benefited Washington actually, because they would have obviously just gone for the extra point after without the penalty. But AJ Brown got fined, but didn't get flagged. So clearly should have gotten flagged if he's getting fined after. Lattimore didn't get any fines. At least that I think. I'm pretty sure he didn't get any fines. Um, yeah. Then the second half, Washington They were kind of making a push. Jane Daniels got a scrambling touchdown. Their defense ended up getting a stop on a blitz. They stuffed Barkley in the backfield. Yeah, again, they very much struggled to stop Saquon the entire game, but they stopped him on that one play at least. They're putting together a good drive, and they fumbled. Austin Ekeler. They had three fumbles, just absolutely derailed their momentum. Some bad penalties just absolutely killed them. Maybe the inexperience factor finally showed up for Washington in this one. Jane Daniels, I actually thought played a pretty solid game statistically in this game. He didn't play great, but I actually thought he played a good game. His pick kind of came at the end and pretty much garbage time. Tress Way, I mentioned that fake punt. It was actually a nice pass. Jane Daniels had a good rushing game. Again, pretty much nothing in the run game outside of Daniels. Zach Ertz had a good game against his old team, the Eagles. McLaurin had an insane catch and run on a touchdown that made it a 2-point game. That 2-point play call, was not a big fan of that play call either in Washington. De'Ami Brown, a couple catches. He had a 2nd and 16. He converted. That was a nice catch on his part. Not too much outside of that for Washington. Hurts actually had a pretty good game passing the ball. Obviously, he's been getting shit. I've been giving him shit for. And again, they're winning, so whatever it takes to win. But I've never been too high on Hurts as a passer. But he had a pretty good passing game. To me, it just seemed like I don't know. It's just their passing game is like very simplified. It just seems like his first read, Jalen Hurts' first read is open like every play, and it's like not like wide open most of the time. So credit to Philly for that. Hurts played a good game, but again, I'm still not super high in Hurts as a pure passer, even though he did it in this game. I'm gonna have to see it consistently more. Barkley, I mentioned, went absolutely berserk in this game. Even Will Shipley had a couple runs. He got a garbage time touchdown late. Jalen Hurts, a lot of his scrambles were tush pushes. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. Actually, one of them was on a draw. AJ Brown had a good game, had a touchdown. Goddard, good game. Devontae Smith, good game. That was another ref kind of screwed the Commanders moment there. Devontae Smith caught a pass. It looked out of bounds. The Commanders probably, you can argue, they should have challenged it, but the Eagles hurried up to the line. That's Devontae Smith had the catch against the quote unquote catch against the Niners too on the NFC Championship game in 22, where it was a 4th down, the Eagles opening drive, and it clearly was an incomplete pass, and Devontae Smith got away with it. So I guess Devontae Smith, maybe he's using the some of the Chiefs' money to pay off the refs there. Looking at the team stats here, I think they're pretty telling of how the game went. Philly outgained the Commanders in pretty much everything except passing yardage. Yards per play, that's a pretty good telling stat in this one. They had 6 more first downs. 50% on 3rd down, that'll work. Commanders not too awful on 3rd down either. They had 7 of them. 4th down, they went for it 6 times. They got it 4, so that's a pretty good conversion rate, 66%. They had 11 more plays than Philly. Again, what absolutely killed the Commanders, penalties and turnovers. They had 4 turnovers. Again, Jayden Daniels' pick came in overtime. I'm sorry, overtime. What the hell am I saying? At the end of the game there in garbage time. Garbage time, that's what I meant to say, not overtime. So that didn't matter too much. The 3 fumbles just absolutely killed Washington, some penalties. So I'd say these stats are pretty telling. Commanders, nothing to be ashamed of. No one expected them to be in this game, make it this far, come up 1 game short of the Super Bowl, 1 win short of the Super Bowl. Year 1 of a rebuild. No one expected them to be here. Overachieved, I think, everyone's expectations. So credit to Washington for making it this far. Hell of a year. Nothing to be ashamed of. Sucks that, they had those 3 fumbles, just absolutely killed them. Some penalties. Philly, they're kind of reminding me a bit of the 2019 Chiefs. A little bit, maybe. It was kind of the same thing with the Ravens this year I was talking about. My playoff videos. I think I talked about it in multiple of them. But what I mean by that is the Chiefs in 2019 were kind of I don't want to say under the radar team, but they weren't the team like everyone was picking to go to the Super Bowl. It seemed like that year everyone was picking the Ravens. The Chiefs were kind of struggling at one point. Mahomes got hurt, his ankle injury. They had kind of a bit of a rough patch there. They were 6-4 at one point. They ended up when Mahomes came back after they lost to the Titans that game. They won out. They finished 12-4. They ended up going to the Super Bowl. Everyone was picking the Ravens that year, so I don't want to say under the radar, but they were kind of not just the unanimous. Oh, they're going to the Super Bowl team that year. Um, I was kind of feeling that was going to be the Ravens this year. I think they should have beaten the Bills, and I honestly think they would have beaten the Chiefs. So who knows? Could have been them. We don't know. We'll never know. They lost to the Bills, obviously, in the divisional round. But Philly this year, I think most people were picking the Lions to go to the Super Bowl this year. Maybe not as many people with all the injuries they had defensively in the back half of the year. But Philly was 2-2 at one point, kind of struggling. A lot of people wanted Sirianni gone, and they won out. Besides that one game, they lost to the Commanders late in the year, which again, even that game, the Devontae Smith drop, they might have gotten a little fortunate, the Commanders, to win that game. And obviously, Hurts got hurt. Pardon the pun there. So yeah, Philly made kind of an under the radar Super Bowl team this year, making all the way, and not a lot of people were picking them. Like for example, 2 years ago, it was kind of their year. They the best team in football. Kind of everyone was picking them to go to the Super Bowl. This year, not a decent amount of people where I had them in the Super Bowl with my bracket prediction. At least I got that right. Most of my bracket went to hell. But at least I got the Eagles in the Super Bowl correct. I had them beating the Lions in the conference championship game. Obviously, the Lions were eliminated by the Commanders, but yeah. Hopefully that makes sense what I was just saying there. But yeah, Philly in the Super Bowl, nothing to be ashamed of for the Commanders. Philly moving on to the Super Bowl. Pretty good game here. Score might be a bit misleading. It was a bit closer for most of it. Pretty entertaining game in that one, I would say. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of my drink here before I talk about this game. Also, apologies if I sound weird. I'm getting sick here. I'm getting congested. My throat's killing me here. So apologies if I sound weird in this one. But Bills Chiefs. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where do I even start with this game? I don't even know where to start. Okay. This game kind of played out similar to how I expected. I expected both offenses to kind of go off in this game. The Chiefs, without a doubt, I think had their best offensive performance of the year. They haven't scored more than 30 in a game. They haven't scored 30 plus in a game all year. They did in this one. I thought both offenses would have good games, but the Chiefs defense was going to get a key extra stop or two. It's kind of exactly what happened. They stopped the Bills on their opening drive. The Chiefs score on their opening drive. The Chiefs held them to a field goal. Their defense held Buffalo's offense to a field goal on their second drive. Buffalo's defense, I guess you can say it made a stop. They kind of got bailed out with the fumble, even though, what a surprise, a couple plays prior, it wasn't offsides, I think. But Mahomes turns the ball over and it gets overturned by penalty. Mahomes, I think, has the record for most. I think he already has more turnovers overturned from penalty than Brady does in his entire career. Absolutely ridiculous. Or had in his entire career, I mean. So there's another one. Add that one to the mid-Holmes list of luckiest player in sports history. So yeah, obviously late in the game, the Chiefs defense made the stop to basically, well, they made the stop by just leaving Kincaid wide open and getting bailed out with a drop. Another lucky play for them per usual. But and then Mahomes and company got 2 first downs. Mahomes did what he does best, just check it down, get bailed out by yak yardage and Andy Reid's scheme. He's been a check down merchant for 2 seasons now. Maybe even 22, Mahomes played a good year. He was very efficient year. He won MVP that year. But ever since they lost Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs coaching staff, like Andy Reid, obviously being the main one behind that, change up their scheme, more slow paced, methodical, less explosive plays. And Mahomes, the past 2 years, I think he's just gotten carried by his defense. I mean, of course, he makes an elite play here and there, but I think you can plug any mid quarterback into his spot, and they're going to have the same amount of success with that defense they have. Just absolutely ridiculous. think Mahomes is, I call him mid-Holmes the past 2 years. But anyway, getting on a little side rant there. Yeah, but my point is the Bills had a good game offensively. The Chiefs did too, except I said I think the Chiefs defense is going to get the key extra stop or two. That's exactly what happened. So yeah, it was uh, so Bills went 3-0 on their opening drive. Allen had 2 near picks. It was like, Jesus Christ, like this is not going to be good. Chiefs went right down the field. They went like 90 yards down the field. I'm like, yep, here we go. Like Sean McDermott just getting out coached again. Bills field goal on their second drive. Then the Chiefs, they turn it over. The fumble. Seems like Mahomes has one of those plays like every playoff game, something like that. Some weird fumble. He had one a couple years going against the Bengals in the conference championship. Helped turn the momentum to the Bengals' favor, or in the Bengals' favor. And then yeah, the Bills had the lead. They were up 10-7, and then the Chiefs scored two. Trying to remember what happened here. Yeah, they scored 14 unanswered. Bills had a good drive at the end of the half. They got a touchdown, and it was 21-16 at the half. Yeah, because I think they went for a sneak. There's one of the Chiefs was offsides on the PAT attempt. The Bills went for 2 from the 1 yard line. They got stuck on a sneak, which this is another thing, coaching. This is why I wanted the Ravens to beat the Bills so badly. Because not just because I picked the Ravens to win it all this year, but because I think the Ravens are simply better coached than the Bills. This is a coaching thing. The Chiefs lined up all their big guys on the left side of the line. Romo talked about it in the broadcast, Nance did too. And Allen, he likes to go to his left side for sneaks. So the Chiefs just sent all their big guys to the left side. They even, I forget who said it yesterday. If they one of their players, the Chiefs did, come out and say that we basically sold out for the left side. If he just would have changed it up, we wouldn't have been prepared for it. And so you're barely getting any yardage on the play, like inches, like maybe a yard at best, like very minimal yardage. And you just keep doing the same thing over and over. Instead of running the sneak maybe to the other side, just doing something different. Coaching absolutely kills me. Just doing the same thing over and over when it's barely even working. And I'll just say right now, Josh Allen got the first down on that Chiefs quote-unquote stop. Blatantly got the first down to me. I cannot believe. Well, actually, I can't actually, because obviously the NFL is doing anything it can to make the Chiefs three-peat. But I mean, to me, Josh Allen got the first down, but still coaching. I mean, a quarterback sneak on 4th and inches, Josh Allen, and you're getting barely anything, even though I think they got it again. You just sneak it to the other side or do something else. It just not great coaching on the Bills' part, I don't think. And obviously, McDermott didn't have a great game coaching the defense. I know he doesn't call the plays, but he's the defensive guy. I know Bobby Babich is the DC actually calling the plays. But really, they only stopped the Chiefs, once? They got a 3-and-out toward the end of the third quarter there. And they did get a clutch sack to keep the Chiefs out of field goal range. Matt Milano, if I remember right, is the one who brought Mahomes down. But besides those 2 stops, I'm in the kind of lucky fumble. Like the Chiefs scored a touchdown on literally every drive except one at the end of the game where the Bills held them to a field goal. Again, that was a clutch sack too to take them, back them up when they had momentum, hold them to a field goal. And Josh Allen could have been the hero again. But yeah, the second half, I mentioned Matt Milano got that sack. The Bills went down the field, scored a touchdown. They didn't get a 2-point conversion. Both the Bills' 2-point conversions could have been returned because Allen pitched the first one that the field on the sneak, he pitched it to Samuel, and that could have been returned. This one he got hit from behind. The ball was loose. One of the linemen covered it up, I think, if I remember right. But 2 dangerous 2-point conversions there. And knowing the Chiefs, I'm surprised that they didn't win off of that, like a return for a 2-point conversion with how the amount of bullshit wins they have this season. And their black magic wins. But yeah, the fourth quarter, again, Bills were up 1. It was 22-21. They had a couple first downs in perfect position to chew the clock, maybe go up 8 points, a touchdown, a PAT. And Josh Allen, to me, clearly is the first down, and they say Kansas City, quote-unquote, stopped him. It was very close, but to me, it was an obvious first down. And also, I'll say the worthy, quote-unquote, catch, not a catch. hit the ground. Worthy did not have possession. And of course, even otherwise, what a bailout from Mahomes. He just basically chucks a Hail Mary up to like the skinniest guy in the field. I think I might be more buff than Xavier Worthy, and I'm a 22-year-old man I'm like 150, and I have like I don't know, I'm a decent physique, but I'm certainly, not I'm not a, like super shredded guy or anything like that. I think I even might have more muscle than Xavier Worthy. But of course. So my point is the skinniest guy in the field is going to somehow wrestle the ball away, which should have been an interception, like a Hail Mary, bail Mahomes out again, the luckiest player in sports history. And there was a holding penalty, so the Chiefs would have gotten the first down anyway. It was third and what, two, I think. So maybe third and four, something like that. I don't exactly remember the yardage, but it would have been a first down. And I think the Chiefs probably would have scored a touchdown anyway. They had momentum at that point. They were moving the ball very efficiently that drive. But so I don't think that mattered too much. But of course, the Chiefs get that to go their way. But obviously, the fourth down is what everyone was talking about. People. Actually, I'll say that rant when I'm finished talking about this game. But the yeah, that fourth down, the Chiefs quote unquote stopped him. Chiefs go right down the field, score a touchdown. Just ridiculous. The Bills are in prime position to take, as I mentioned, take time off the clock, go get a touchdown, maybe go up 8. Really put the pressure on the Chiefs there. And one bad ref call gives the Chiefs all the momentum. Chiefs got a touchdown, 2-point conversion. Allen and company went down the field, fourth and goal. He found Samuel. And that's another thing. He hit, who the hell was it? I forget who we hit deep. I want to say it was Mac Hollins, who, by the way, that touchdown catch he hit at the end of the first half was insane. They actually called PI in the Chiefs. It was a miracle on McDuffie. I think it was Mac Hollins. He was down to like the 2-yard line. They spotted it horribly. They moved the ball back like 2 yards, if I remember right. It's another BS thing to go in the Chiefs' favor from the refs. But they ended up getting the touchdown. It was 29-all. Chiefs went down the field. Well, of course, they another Mahomes bailout. The Bills kicked the ball out of bounds. So they're sitting at the 40. Then Mahomes checked it down. What a surprise. And they get bailed out with it was the correct call, but they get bailed out with a face mask call on the Bills. So they're already basically almost in field goal range from one play from 2 Bills plays in a row, the kickoff and the face mask, to basically be in prime position to chew the clock and, kick the game winning field goal. Worthy had a big catch. It was first and goal. The Bills got a sack on Mahomes. They ended up holding the Chiefs to a field goal, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Josh Allen down 3, prime opportunity, get a touchdown, be the hero, send the Bills to the Super Bowl, get the most obnoxious team in the existence of sports out of here. Literally everyone outside of Kansas City will be celebrating, I think, praising the Bills, praising Josh Allen. He had a clutch run on 2nd and 11. They got it to around midfield, and again, coaching. I think Joe Brady called a pretty good game, but I didn't like this play calling. Third and 10, and they ran a screen. So it looked like the screen was just to get a couple extra yards, make it fourth and manageable. I would have taken 2 shots to try to get the first down there, but that didn't happen. Also, Curtis Samuel ran a nice whip route. I think it was a whip route, if I remember right. It looked like he was going to have a good chance of getting the first down, and the ball got batted. Did it get bat? Either got batted down or Samuel dropped it. I think one of the two. But Samuel might have hit the first down, and obviously they didn't get the first down. That was pretty much obviously a major deciding factor in the game here. But probably Samuel dropped it to get the Chiefs some more luck. Knowing them, I think it was batted down. I'm not exactly sure though. I don't remember. But the 4th and 5 play, obviously that's what a lot of people talking about. Allen scrambled to his right, and the Chiefs sent pressure that way. So he was under pressure immediately. He just chucked up a Hail Mary, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, well, it looked like it sailed past the initial receiver. I think it was Samuel. And I'm like, well, that's game. And then Kincaid, I'm like, oh my God, he's wide open. I thought he had it, and he dropped it. Of course, he drops it. Bail the Chiefs out some more. A lot of people were saying it was karma because the Mark Andrews drop, obviously a big reason why the Bills were there. So a lot of people were saying it was karma. I still think even if Andrews caught that, I talked about it in my divisional round recap video, that the Bills probably would have gone on the field, gotten field goal range to win the game. Obviously, we'll never know. The Ravens still would have had a good chance at winning, I think. But yeah, then they ran on first down the Chiefs. Bills stuffed them for like a yard or two gain, I think. They burned a timeout. Then Mahomes, another coaching thing. They ran a play action bootleg with the not a boot. They just a play action with the running back coming out of the flat, dumped it down to him. Isaiah Pacheco got the first down, but went out of bounds. When he went out of bounds, saved the Bills a timeout. I'm like, oh my god, that if the Bills end up getting this ball back, going down the field, getting a touchdown or getting a field goal and to go to overtime, they end up winning the game. That is going to be talked about forever. Pacheco's going to be getting ripped, but obviously that didn't happen. Because if he would have stayed inbounds, they would have had one timeout and the Chiefs would have had a first down. It would have been, I think there was like a minute, I don't know, like a minute 50 left at that point, something like that. So it would have been, let's see. Let me run some quick math in my head here. Yeah, the Bills would have gotten the ball back, if I'm thinking here, probably with around like 10, 15 seconds left. So it would have been damn near impossible. Unless you're the Chiefs, they would have gotten some flag to bail them out in that situation, I'm sure. But they would have had no timeouts. Obviously, the Chiefs marched on the field to get in field goal range at 13-second game. If they had their timeouts, the Bills wouldn't have had their timeouts in that situation. But anyway, coaching here. The Chiefs ran that play multiple times, and it was successful every time. They got a touchdown out of it. Mahomes scrambled for a touchdown. Coming out of a timeout, too. Just wide open lane for Mahomes to scramble. And then Kelce, being the arrogant asshole that he is, God, I would pay good money to see him get clocked by like Ray Lewis or something, or someone like that. Kelce gets in the face of, I think it was Hamlin. Doesn't get a flag for it, of course, because it's the Chiefs, but he gets fined for it, of course. So he gets fined for it, but no flag, of course, because he's a Chief. But yeah, my point is the Chiefs ran the play multiple times, successful every time, especially in crucial crunch situations. They're not adjusting for it, the Bills. I mean, really. But yeah, the Bills ended up getting the Chiefs to a third down, 3rd and 9. And again, Mahomes did what he does best. Check it down and get bailed out by yak yardage by Andy Reid's scheme. And the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. God help us all. Josh Allen, I thought, played a really good game. Outside of the first drive, he should have had 2 picks. Outside of that, I thought he played a really good game. James Cook had a really good game. I mean, he's not even, this is another thing, coaching. James Cook having a great game. He had an incredible touchdown on 4th and goal where he kind of got stopped short, but he extended the ball out, put his hand down for balance, ended up getting a touchdown. So that was incredible by James Cook there. Josh Allen had a couple nice scrambles. I mentioned that 2nd and 11, but James Cook not on the field, and that crucial 4th down situation. And that 4th down, they ran kind of like a bubble orb play to Shakir. And, they've ran that play in the past. They ran against the Dolphins 4th and short, except it was to James Cook. They ran against the Chiefs last in the divisional round with Shakir. It worked. They got a 4th down on their last drive. And, it looked like a very similar play. Shakir was wide open. I think he had one Chief to beat, but he had a blocker in front of him. Just happened to be Allen scrambled to his right, and the Chiefs sent pressure on the right. So maybe it wasn't the main read, but it looked like it. I remember right, the Bills even ran that play against the Chiefs, I think, this year. That was the Allen run with the 4th down to, pretty much ice the game against the Chiefs. But yeah, James Cook not on the play in a couple crucial 4th down situations. He had periods this game where he was kind of not on the field. It's like, what is going on here? Some more coaching questions there. Yeah, Matt Collins had a good game. I think he had that big catch. I talked about set up the 29-29 all that late in the game. He had that touchdown catch I mentioned. James Cook, couple nice catches. They ran a play action. Running back coming out of the flat play the Bills did to James Cook. Got a lot of yak yardage. That was when they were down 7. Then Matt Collins caught that deep pass. Helped tie it up with 4th and goal there. That touchdown Allen threw. Shakir had a pretty good game. Had a couple 3rd down conversions, a 3rd and 13 conversion that was nice. Mari Cooper, kind of a quiet game. He caught that screen pass late that was kind of a questionable play call. Kincaid obviously had that drop. That absolutely killed them. Mahomes, obviously, I hate Mahomes, Mahomes hater, but I thought this was honestly probably his best game of the year, most efficient game of the year. And I say that, and he had 245 yards and a touchdown. So if that's your best game of the year, that's from a statistical perspective at least. I don't think that's a super great game. I know he had a game, like a game or two this year. He had 300 plus pass yardage games, but or performances, but still, I thought Mahomes was pretty good this game. I He got bailed out that worthy quote unquote catch I mentioned. Then he had that fumble turnover. Two in that drive. One was kind of off the offsides that got overturned. But besides that, I think Don Mahomes played well. Kareem Hunt, I think, had a pretty solid game. That he had the touchdown in their opening drive. Then the Chiefs kind of, or the Bills rather, kind of clamped down on the run a bit better. But Kareem Hunt, I thought, ran hard and a decent game. Mahomes had a couple nice scrambles, 11 carries. Didn't realize he had that many. He had two rushing touchdowns in this game. Xavier Worthy, pretty good game. Juju had a pretty good game. Hollywood Brown, he's been a big difference maker. Maybe not from a receiving perspective, but he has really helped that offense kind of open it up, it looks like, since he's come back. Kelce, nothing much. Two catches for 19 yards and does nothing but talk shit. He's an arrogant asshole. Let's see. The team stats here, I think they're pretty telling. Very close in a lot of these categories. I mean, the Chiefs outdid them marginally in passing and rushing yards, but Bills just outdid them in total yards by 6. Again, so they had more yards by 6. The Bills did total yards. The Chiefs had 6 more passing yards. They had 12 less rushing yards. They had 0.3 more yards per play. They had 6 more first downs. That's pretty telling in a game that was this tight. Both teams had the same amount of third downs. The Bills went for it 6 times on fourth down. Should have had 5 of them, but got bailed out by the refs. The Chiefs did. Bills had 5 more plays. Both teams had the same amount of punts and sacks. Penalties, again, couple of them. I'm trying to remember. So yeah, the only kind of bad penalty I think the Chiefs screwed the refs screwed the Bills on was the play where Kelce was fined for. Shouldn't have been a penalty on the Bills there. But again, a couple bad calls. But as far as penalties, unless I'm missing something, I don't think the Bills got any phantom calls from the refs there. Time possession nearly dead even. Again, that fumble that got lost by Mahomes, I mentioned that. So yeah, is that the only that was the only turnover in this game. So yeah, really good back and forth game. Another classic Bills Chiefs game. Everyone is poor Josh Allen. Everyone's feeling for Josh Allen, I think. Just cannot beat Mahomes in the playoffs. He's always so close every year, and he just comes up a bit short. But yeah. Fortunately, we get the most obnoxious, toxic team in the history of sports back in the Super Bowl. The third straight year. The Eagles are our last hope. Oh my God. The Eagles are the only team that can stop a three-peat. God help us. So if the Chiefs three-peat, oh my God, this is actually going to be a nightmare. Going to be an absolute nightmare of an offseason. Probably all the ridiculous GOAT debates that we'll have to deal with Mahomes and Brady. God, recency bias can be a hell of a drug. But yeah, really good game, classic, back and forth. But yeah, literally, again, I'll just go on my ref rant here. Yes, I'm a Patriots fan, so people, when Patriots fans on Instagram, I see people are saying, it's funny that you're a Patriots fan and saying the refs bailed the Chiefs out. Yes, we got some beneficial calls here in our dynasty, but not to this extent. We would get a call here and there, and that probably shouldn't have been called, or we get a 50-50 call to bounce in a way that we shouldn't have, but not to this extent. It seems like every game, they get at least, the Chiefs, I mean, one completely phantom call to go their way. every 50-50 call is going the Chiefs' way. It feels like every game. And social media, when we were good in our dynasty, when he had Brady and company, and obviously Belichick, social media would be on us and they say it was rigged. The refs bail us out, but not to the extent that it's happening with the Chiefs. And all I see on social media with an NFL post is just how, all memes about the refs bailing the Chiefs out, how and that's all anyone talks about with Chiefs posts is anything related to the Chiefs. All anyone talks about is the refs, how they bail them out. The amount of people criticizing the Chiefs and the refs, that situation there was not nearly the amount of people that did it to us and not to the volume. They didn't do it as often. So at least people have our back. With the Chiefs are certainly getting some ref help. I mean, I don't think it got to the point with us where the former VP of officiating had to come out and say it wasn't rigged in the Chiefs' favor. Obviously, he's not going to say it is rigged, even if it is. I think his own brother came out and said he thinks it's rigged. But the Chiefs, I mean, literally everyone is catching on to it at this point. And the NFL isn't stupid. They must hear this noise. Goodell and company must hear this noise. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this Super Bowl gets officiated here. But anyway, going on my side rant here. But yeah, fortunately, Chiefs, God help us all, Eagles. This has been the most painful season I've had, single season as a sports fan, not just because of how god awful the Patriots were. Obviously, that was a big part of it, but I've been so screwed. Betting, fantasy, such a heartbreaking year. Fantasy, betting, the amount of bets that have come so close, then something phantom happens, like an injury or a drop pass, something like that, is so unlikely to happens. I've been so screwed betting. In fantasy, I made it to the championship in 2 leagues, got my ass kicked from, my opponent's teams all in career days, for Christ's sake. So it's so fitting that the teams I hate the most, the Chiefs and the Eagles, are in the Super Bowl. I actually had I signed a 2-week contract being Eagles fan because I hate the Eagles. I hate them. But the Chiefs, I hate them even more. No team I hate more than the obnoxious City Chiefs. God help us all, Eagles. But anyway, I will end the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed the conference championship, conference championship games. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Friggin' Jesus, my head is all over the place. I'm so congested and everything. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the conference championship games. Pretty entertaining. Probably more so Bills Chiefs. Unfortunately, I kind of knew that I just felt the Chiefs were going to win the game as soon as they took the lead 29-22. And then even when the Bills tied it up, I'm like, all right, I still think Chiefs going to win, unfortunately. That field goal gave me some hope, but once Kincaid dropped, I'm like, yep, that's probably game. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the conference championship games. You guys are good with your picks, betting, that good stuff. I would wish you luck if your team's in the Super Bowl, but I hate both teams. I guess if you're an Eagles fan, I'm pulling for you too, because I just fucking hate the Chiefs so much. But anyway, I'll end the video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this recap video. Dylan and I are going to be recording a podcast episode in about an hour or so here. So be on the lookout for that if you're interested. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good one. Take it easy, guys.